The United States, and indeed the world, has paid a deep price for collectivism and its cancerous influence. From the former Soviet Union in the past to modern nations like Cuba, Venezuela, and China, to political movements like progressives and the Democrat Socialist Party in America. If these people are in charge, individual rights and human freedom disappear, and the supremacy of government and the benefit for a select few is all but assured. Joe Biden proves me right, again. That's the focus of today's preamble. Before we get to the Socialist Democrats, let's examine their favorite country, Communist China. Courtesy of the Maoist revolution, the current structure of China is that of a totalitarian state that is barbarically inhuman, racist, and openly partaking in state-sponsored slavery. You know, I'll never forget Barack Obama appearing to speak of this system as, well, he almost did so admiringly. Even abortion cheerleaders like left-wingers over at NPR appear to draw the line at a government pinning women down and forcing abortions on them. That was the one-child policy in place for decades in China. You know, there's a reason why the one-child policy was in place. You see, communist dictators know their stupid, grotesque, and Gestapo-like communist system, both economic and political, can't sustain a thriving and growing population. So these wizards of smart aborted themselves into a demographic time bomb that will ultimately destroy this wart on the rear end of humanity, China's repressive government. From sports analysts to folks at Human Rights Watch, people with a conscience have noted that China's government has a real racism problem. Observers noted that the pandemic, which originated in China, worsened a rampant racism problem in the country, highlighted by open discrimination against black people and Africans by the Chinese government. Americans who know their history see parallels with the leftists in charge in China and the Democrat cousins here in America. For over a century, the American left has been the home of racial discrimination as a mechanism of division, from the Civil War to the Jim Crow South. China even mimics the Democrats' history of being the largest and most powerful slave state. Multiple reports across various sources highlight how China has dispersed millions of Muslim Uyghurs into concentration camps. Some critics have gone so far as to call this a genocide nobody talks about because China is the world's second largest economy. And in this liberty-loving Latino's opinion, the greatest threat to mankind that exists on our planet today. International pressure and laws mean nothing to communist oppressors. China has a goal, and they will achieve that goal at any cost. And what is that goal? What every leftist dreams of: complete control of the world. In the 100-Year Marathon, a book by foreign policy strategist Michael Pillsbury, he details the evidence showing that Chinese government has a detailed strategy to overtake the United States as the world's dominant superpower. They want to do this by the year 2049, the centennial of China's communist revolution. And as mentioned, they have allies here in China, in America. One of the biggest is Joe Biden and his Democrat Socialist Party. There has been no better friend to Communist China than the Democrat Party. It appears that China's violence, weaponization of government, and idiotic collectivist economic policies have been the roadmap for Democrats in this country to follow for 12 of the last 16 years. Joe Biden just put the finishing touches on an occupation of the Oval Office that has been defined and marred as one of the most lawless, anti-American, and destructive reigns of terror in our nation's history, continuing the disastrous Obama years with a vengeance. After packing the U.S. with millions of unvetted illegal aliens in the ultimate display of government-sanctioned lawbreaking, Joe Biden put another milestone in the history books. After pardoning his son for known crimes and crimes that have not been formally charged, Joe Biden proved everything I've ever said about him and his kind to be true. In the largest single-day act of clemency in U.S. history, Joe Biden is commuting the sentences of over 1,500 people and giving full pardons to 39 others. And we're not certain he's finished. His Eminence, Dr. Fauci, Adam Schiff, Liz Cheney, and others are said to be under consideration for preemptive pardons for crimes they may have, well, actually, we don't know that they actually committed yet. The Biden crime family has been illegally making money off of Joe Biden's office for decades. He's not alone, but he's certainly one of the best at it. In my opinion, Biden is a crook's crook. If the massive illegal alien invasion wasn't enough proof, if the lawfare and government weaponization wasn't enough proof, if the Hunter Biden pardon wasn't enough proof, certainly this historic clemency should be. I wish I wasn't right about the left and Joe Biden.